What's happened to Jared Schofield? Has he fallen off the face of the earth?
Well, no, because Channel 10 don't know his driving times. They know everyone's flight times.
But there's no mention. No article now says Jared Schofield. There's not a single mention of him being a contender.
Fair point. It is a fair point.
And if they are the three contenders, and I know we might eventually have to work with them and interview them and make them feel good, and I get all that. But if they are the three leading candidates to replace Adam Simpson, they've made a terrible blunder.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah.
What if
you don't think Adam Simpson's a better coach than those three? Do you think Adam Simpson is a better coach than those three? Forget about what they could possibly be like.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like that's the thing. Adam, would you have said that about Simo when Woosha left? Would you have said do you think Adam Simpson's a better coach than John Worsfold? No, he's not.
Worsfold.
It's just a name, I don't have to say it right. Worsfold.
Thank you.
Do you think that Simo is a better coach than Woosha? You'd say no, but he has to. But Simo's done a great service for the Eagles and won them a premiership, and his time was up. And now it's time to find the next coach who's better than Simo.
Thank you.
But go back to what I just said, though. Simo, at the time, was not a better coach than John Worsfold. Worsfold, oh, whatever, Woosha. Shut up.
Adam Simpson hadn't done a dozen years as an assistant coach. He'd barely come out of playing. He was minimal at Hawthorn. No, mate. He was in his 30s when he started coaching. Well, he didn't finish playing until he was about 32, 33. He didn't spend that long at Hawthorn.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, so he didn't do the 12 or 14 years. Stephen King is well-travelled.
Yes.
Okay, well-travelled.
Yep.
He's only been at Geelong for 1 year, so don't tell me, he's a part of the Geelong. He's only been 1 year. Yep. He was at the Gold Coast Suns when they were no good.
Yeah, it was Gold Coast and Doggies.
Hayden Skipworth, relatively well-travelled.
Essendon, Collingwood.
Yeah. Was he involved in Adelaide? I know he played in Adelaide, but I don't know if he was involved in coaching. And Andrew McQualter was at Richmond. Then he's across at Melbourne. He didn't get the job at Richmond. He was under their nose.
Yes.
And then he's at Melbourne, who have fallen off the face of the earth. This is not a personal attack on all three of them. Again, maybe very good. But if I'm looking back and going, wow, we're going to sack our coach, and Adam Simpson was sacked, okay, you sack him knowing full well the replacement is going to be a step up.
Yeah.
It is not a step up. I'm sorry, it is not a step up in my opinion.
This is a punt.
Correct. Go and get the coach you want. So if you are saying to Adam Simpson, mate, you're not the coach going forward. Now, if they go down the absolutely, we're going to rebuild coach, I can sort of get it. And I know you've said it a couple of times, and I think even Hayes mentioned, are they the next Craig McRae?
Or Alistair Clarkson, or Chris Scott. They could be. But so your concern is the fact that they've been overlooked several times already.
Yeah, I am. And I just don't think there has been a plan for West Coast.
There's a bit of a problem. But this doesn't. So
where's Jared Schofield in this? He's coached them. He knows the club. And for me, if you put all four names along across the board, there's no way you would say that those other three are better than Jared Schofield. Yet every conversation I see, hear or read doesn't have him in as a contender.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. But who's to say Scully hasn't got in his car and driven to the club for his full interview? He possibly has done that, but because people are flying in from interstate,
correct.
It seems like a bigger deal and all that sort of thing. Scully could have well and truly had his interview.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is no one is now talking about him as a contender.
It also doesn't rule out. So while you've got to interview these guys, which is absolutely your due diligence that you do, it also doesn't rule out what happens in this week and next week in the two finals teams, whether Coxie is still available or Chris Scott's not gettable. He's just not gettable. Or Ken Hinkley is gettable. You've got to go through interview processes. You've got to go through the candidates that are there. But if there is one better that pops up in the next 2 weeks, then they've got their full evidence of interviews and who they like and who they've put a line through, and then see if there's anyone better when those other coaches have finished their duties. Do you think this is it? That's it. It's the three of them.
I think it's only the three. I hope it's four. I hope Jared Schofield is certainly in the mix. I really do, because I don't think those three, again, I don't know them. We've interviewed them on the show. I get all that sort of stuff. But I'm not sitting there going, wow, they're replacing Adam Simpson with Hayden Skipworth, Andrew McQualter, Stephen King. I'm not looking at them like that. And I think that's when you sack a coach. You sack a coach knowing you got someone better. And the more I've sat back on this now, the more I've realised they didn't have a plan. They've now opened up and gone, okay, let's now find the best one. The best one is not coming, Dean Cox. Then you've got Ash Hansen and Jamie Graham. They are your elite three in the system who have a connection to West Coast. And I know everyone goes, you don't have to be connected at West Coast. It helps. And they're all three quality human beings that we know a bit about, that Don Pike would know something about. I am just not sold on this process at West Coast. Taking me a little time to smell the roses. 13 12 55 if you wish to have a say. Brad is in the city and he would like to talk about coaching. G'day, Brad.
Hey, mate, how are you?
Going well, Brad. What are your thoughts?
To be fair, did we know Adam Simpson was going to be Adam Simpson when he replaced Wisher, who was a premiership coach?
Well, I said that earlier. We didn't know that Simo was, at the time, would you say that Simo is a better coach than John Worsfold? You would say no, but we didn't know. So I agree with you, Brad. Like, that's the thing. We don't know, and that's why it is such a punt, and that is why the panel has to get it so absolutely right. Out of those three, Brad, who would you pick?
I really don't know much about either of them, to be honest with you. So I don't know. But I mean, how they present us and how they sort of act in general sort of life can be two different things, I suppose. But I really don't know about any of them enough to judge. So I don't know.
Adam Simpson was an assistant coach for 4 years at Hawthorn, and that included winning a premiership in 2013 at the Hawks under Alistair Clarkson. I think he's got more coins in the bank taken over West Coast at that time in a short stint than the three current candidates that I keep hearing about who have been in the system a long time, in my opinion.
I'm with you on that one. It does concern me why they've been overlooked before by others. You know, Simo's obviously a standout there. Do your Craig McRae thing there. And you go, Brad.
Simo got overlooked. Simo got overlooked when he was talking on SEN the other day. He said, how many jobs did he go for? He didn't get. He went for a few, didn't he?
Well, he couldn't have gone for too many. He'd only been assistant coach for 4 years. Only been short out of the system. He may have applied, but
he went for the Bridgie job. He said he went for the Bridgie job, but he went for. There was one other he said he went for. I can't remember. I'll go back and have a look at the.
Craig McRae.
Anyway,
Craig McRae was an assistant coach starting back in 2007. He was in the system a long time.
So there you go. So and maybe he didn't put his hand up for senior jobs, but he was in the system a long time. So that's a good thing, Goss. That's a good thing that Craig McRae was in the system a long time. Maybe overlooked.
Yep.
Got his chance and look what happened.
And then jagged a flag and now look at them. They're terrible. Rightio, 13 12 55 0487 736 736. Brad, thank you, Brad. You are in the caller for the fully catered box at the Wildcats, October 4. Wildcats, thanks to Off-Road Trucks Australia. Anyone else wish to join 13 12 55? We're having a chat. Thanks to McCafe. Score a new deal every day with Macca's Footy Finals deal only on the My Macca's app. Skipworth
does seem the favourite, but if you listen to them, and I know the Collingwood boys love him, and I know Woosha rates him highly, and if there is going to be any moves to the board, I think Woosha's obviously got the ear of Don Pike. There's no doubt about that. You respect your teammates and friends, and he rates him highly. But if you listen to their interviews yesterday, you go, he's got some media work to do, some media training to do. He was talking like he's just one of the lads. And when you look at Stephen King, the way he spoke to the media, then McWalter as well, who's done it. So if you just went on media interviews, Skip was probably third, but at the moment he's probably on top.
Yeah, so Hayden Skipworth played at Adelaide and also Essendon, of course, and has been around the coaching system and was involved at Collingwood, of course, as head of their academy before him moving into a line coach in 2020. So, hey, Cam from Carbon Up is online. G'day, Cam. You're in the running. Good morning.
How you going, boys? Just a quick one with I thought it was Thursday morning. I was all excited because it's Friday, and then I heard Scotty's voice and nearly fell over. I was like, what day is it?
I'm confused too, Cam. Don't worry, mate. I'm confused.
Yeah. That's great. I think, because I'm a Richmond member and that, and I've watched a lot of, McWalter worked alongside Craig McRae at Richmond, and they won premierships together in coaching. And then also, I heard that Lyon, as soon as Hardwick left the Tigers, that Lyon chased McWalter because he knew him as a person, as a player, and what have you, and thought he was a very good person. People. So, if I was a West Coast fan, I'd be have a little look further into McWalter, and I also agree with Scott, with you, Goss, with Schofield. I can't believe his name's not being talked about a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just somehow fallen off the radar. Maybe we've just got caught up in the blokes coming from the east. Good on you, Cam. You're in the running for the box of the tickets to the fully catered Wildcats game on October 4, thanks to the team at Off-Road Trucks Australia. 13 12 55. Heaps of texts coming in. Massive amount. Goss, are you saying Schofield is a better coach than Simpson? It's not about being a better coach. It's not about being a better coach. But if you're lining up the four names of the three contenders coming in and Jared Schofield hasn't been at West Coast a long time, but he's been there long enough. No, he hasn't been at West Coast a long time. And he was at Port Adelaide up to a couple of years ago. It's come across, done a little bit of an apprenticeship under Adam Simpson, knows the system, had some success. Okay, they got belted in a couple, I get all that, but that still shouldn't work against him totally. Because Andrew McWalter has been at Melbourne and they've been belted.
Yeah, and they've been horrible and they're on field and off.
Yep.
And also
and Skipworth was at Collingwood, who fell off the cliff this year as well.
Oh, the cliff's a bit of a.
But they fell off the cliff. They didn't make the finals. No, not too many premiers go from making the flag to not running being a contender.
No, fair call. If you had to pick right now, who are you picking? Out of those four, let's say four. Let's.
I would take Schofield. I would take Schofield because I think it's better the devil you know.
But the devil they know is partly responsible for them how they've been playing the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you?
So is Stephen King at Gold Coast. So was Stephen King at Gold Coast. So was Hayden Skipworth this year at Collingwood. So was McWalter at Melbourne. They've all had their parts where.
Yeah, fair call.
So anyway, 13, 12, 55.
And they're assistant coach, and all senior coaches do it their way. I mean, they can be collaborative at times, but when things are tough, they will always revert back to their own way. So how much of a say does the assistants get when things are tough?
Simo went for the Brisbane role, GWS succession plan, then came to West Coast and got the job over Summer. He was he came in late, and no one can deny the success Adam Simpson had. The last 3 years have been very ordinary for a whole range of reasons, and COVID just came and cleaned the club out. That was their hard part. They didn't handle it well. He has to take responsibility for that. Boys, Andrew McWalter is 38. He's a baby, been part of three flags as an assistant, far more accomplished than Simpson was in 2014, far more. Tim in Kalgoorlie. Good on you, Tim. Thank you for listening on 1611 Kalgoorlie, of course. We appreciate that as well. I think Stephen King would have been the next Suns coach had Dimmer not been available. Okay. At this rate, Corns will be saying that the Eagles should approach Ange Postecoglou. Noddy, I think, thank you, Noddy. And there's a whole lot of text. Can't even get to all of them, but thank you on the Temperate Bedshed text line. Now, time for...
Can I just ask you, just to finish that off, do you think that those, let's say four, are the only four? The coaching role will come out of one of those four?
Yeah, and it doesn't, I'm not filled with confidence.
If Ken gets spanked tonight.
Yeah. But David Koch has come out and said Ken's going to coach next year.
Koshy,
If I was Ken, I'd be looking for a long-term deal, and I reckon you get one at West Coast.